full of authentic points of view. Myself alone have at least 22. They come from the things that we have been through. Those things can either make or break you. Life is full of ups and downs. It's our choice to either smile or frown. Please choose to smile today, because it's one thing that's free to give away. People say that life isn't hard, it's what you make of it. But what if only struggle surrounds you? What can you take from it? Life can be hard and some things aren't fair. Please listen to others just to be aware. All I'm saying, you never know what someone's going through. Just because they look happy doesn't make it true. Hopefully this podcast will help you see you are not alone, you at least got me. We are more alike than you may know, but if we stay quiet, we will never grow. Don't ever give up, because you got this. If you quit, think of all the opportunities that you could miss. Okay, so I'm so excited because of today's guest. He is amazing. I know you have seen him before. So I'm so thankful and grateful that he is willing to speak to me and you guys. His name is
I'm
Larry
willing to speak to
Hankin.
anybody.
Yay!
Larry Hankin. I'm willing to speak to anybody. Anybody who wants to talk, fine. If you can find me.
Oh, that sounds very tricky. If you can find him. Okay, so I found him through somebody. So I'm so thankful for that. So excited. Larry Hankin, yay, you have been on, oh my gosh, what, 50 plus movies, hundreds of shows,
The
screenplay.
final count is I think
What is it?
202. I found that from podcasters. They tell me. I don't follow
Wow.
me, but podcasters has told me I've
Amazing.
done 202 TV movies and episodes and movies. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, first of all, thank you so much again for coming on and speaking with us. I am so excited to talk to you. Okay.
Don't get
So,
too excited or we won't be able to talk. Okay.
okay. I'll try to limit my
Keep it down. Keep it down. Just keep it
No,
down.
nobody tells me that, Larry. That's just hard to do.
Well, that's Mr. Heckles. That's not me. That's Mr. Heckles. That's one of
First
my
of all,
clients.
okay, yeah, that's not where we were going to get started, but let's talk about Mr. Heckles. First of all, I absolutely love Mr. Heckles. Okay. And so when I was looking up information and stuff, it said like, is Mr. Heckles alive? Like, it's so funny. So Mr.
Well,
Heckles,
yeah.
go ahead. Go.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So no, Mr. Heckles. Now, you had a background in improv. So did you get to improv any of that? Or was it all scripted? Or because I just love that character. It's so amazing.
Yeah, it's a great character. No, I didn't improvise at all. It was written. I just did what was on the page. So that's why it's so great. I didn't have to work at all. I just memorized the lines and did it. But he's a big, he's a famous character for me. Yeah. I mean, but you asked a question that was really interesting. Is Mr. Heckles still alive? And theoretically, he's dead, and theoretically, he's alive. And I'll explain that.
Yeah.
On the show, he had a heart attack because they needed a place for Chandler to move. Yeah, that's why he got cut from the program. It wasn't a writer's thing. It was Chandler had moved out or got thrown out. I don't know. I don't know the plot of why Chandler was out of the apartment. And he wanted to get back in, and they didn't want to fire him. I mean, he's an important part of the makeup of the show. So they said, my God, when they wrote that he was fired, they figured, well, he'll just get another apartment in another building or something. But even in the same building, but then they couldn't get him into the show. In other words, if he got an apartment in the same building, how does he get into the show's apartment? Why does he come over every week if he's in another apartment? So they couldn't figure that out. So they thought, well, Mr. Heckles' apartment is right across the hall. So if we got rid of Mr. Heckles, he could move in there and just walk over, borrowing sugar, or just walk in, or they invite him back in. But that was as close and as good a solution to the problem they created for themselves. They didn't think ahead. Well, where will Chandler live? How will he get into the show? So they gave me a heart attack and moved me out. Okay, so the theory was that I had a heart attack and I died. Well, after a couple of years of not doing the show, my character was gone. I got an offer from Cameo, the where you can wish people happy birthday and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Cameo. Well, they wanted me to do all the people who called in and say, "Oh, Larry Hankin, I wish this person a happy birthday." Do it as Mr. Heckles. Now, Mr. Heckles had died. So me, Larry, I couldn't figure out, well, that happened years ago. That happened like 2 years ago. Now they want Mr. Heckles to wish their friend a happy birthday. How do I do that? So the only way I could explain it was when they got me to the hospital, they revived me. They cured the heart attack. But my apartment was already released, so I'm living in another place. But now I can do Cameo and be Mr. Heckles and wish people happy birthday. So that's the story of, is Mr. Heckle alive or not? I resuscitated him at the hospital.
Amazing. Well, you have good
We're
powers.
the producers.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. Let me ask you also about Mr. Heckle. So, okay. I think you wore a robe a lot in that, like you were just, yes, I love it. And so there was animals involved. So how was it working with the monkey? Like when Mr. Heckles stole the little capuchin monkey, how did that work? Like, was it really cool working with a monkey? Have you worked with animals before that?
There's two things there's two rules about acting that you should always adhere to. One is don't work with children or animals.
Yep.
That's it. Well, I thought it was really great working with the monkey because I don't think the monkey was getting paid enough bananas to do what they wanted him to do, because he was, he wouldn't do anything. He would just run around the set. And the director, which was at this particular point, was Peter Bonners, who was a friend of mine.
Okay.
I mean, it had nothing to do with acting or directing. From the Commitee, from the old days. I mean, we worked together as, brother actors in the Commitee in San Francisco. So when I did this show with the monkey, and Peter was directing. Now, he's very serious. He doesn't have a very good sense of humor. Although if you put him on a stage and you pay him, he's got a great sense of humor. I would just go out in the audience every time you go on the stage to improvise something, and I just watch him just to laugh. But he's, I guess really good comedians don't have a sense of humor about themselves, including me. I can laugh at what you do, but if you make fun of me, that's not funny.
Yeah.
So
right.
anyway, so I kept on. So the monkey is running around, and I thought it was really funny. And the cast and everybody, the crew, was trying to capture the monkey because he would just boom, 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 boom. And time is money on a TV set.
Yeah.
So it was getting kind of weird, and I thought it was funny. And Peter was directing, and he had to control the monkey. I mean, everybody looked, Peter, the monkey. We can't get the monkey. So my relationship to Peter was, Peter's my friend, not my director. I mean, I didn't think of him as my director.
Yeah.
I thought of him as my friend. So I was just like, giving him a lot of shit, And he was, and everybody said, "Hey, Peter, we got to get this thing going. What's going on with the monkey?" And I thought that was ridiculous. I thought that was so funny. My buddy is, he's hung up with a monkey. I guess one of the rules is, as a director, don't direct children or animals.
Oh my God.
So we didn't get along on that set at all. And Peter was just having a lot of problems with the monkey. And I just remembered I mean, I marked in my mind, okay, the saying, don't work with children or animals is true, Larry. Keep that in mind. Or direct. If you ever direct, don't direct the monkey.
Oh.
So that's the story. To this day, he still kind of holds a grudge against me
Oh
for
no.
that one day. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't like to get into funniness with me because he's afraid I'll just make fun of him or something. I don't know.
Oh.
But we have a very touchy, testy relationship at the moment for years because of that one day. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Interesting.
I'm so I have another question. Apparently I want to talk about animals. So you did work with another animal and it was a cat. So the episode was like there wasn't a
Bob
cat. You like
Buttons.
hid the cat.
Bob
What?
Buttons.
Oh, Bubba. Okay, so what happened with that cat? Did it injure you or what happened? Like in real life, like not on the scene,
Well,
but
it really did
oh
injure
wow.
what's her name?
Jennifer Aniston?
No, the ditzy character,
Oh,
the
Lisa.
Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah, Lisa Kudrow.
So it was her and the black-haired one,
Ross?
who,
Oh,
the
Monica.
female,
Yeah, yeah,
Monica.
yeah. Yeah.
So Lisa and Monica came to my door. They said, I don't know why they came there, but Lisa had the cat. Now, the whole point of this, of the injury, is, I mean, she lived through it. It's not a bad injury. I'm not talking about anything dangerous or anything, but there was blood involved.
Oh my.
Uh, they came to my door, Mr. Heckles' door, the apartment door, with the cat, but I don't know why they came to the door. I don't know. Oh, maybe they thought it was my. No, because they said, no, this is not your cat. Anyway, they knocked on the door and we rehearsed for a week without the cat because it was too expensive, I
Oh.
guess. So Lisa would always come to the door like this, pantomiming a cat, and she would pet it and do the scene. Okay, fine. That was the flaw. That was the mistake. You do not rehearse without animals. I mean, because the same thing with the monkey. During the rehearsals, during the week, we didn't rehearse with the monkey. There was no monkey. We just said, here, okay, the monkey goes here, blah, blah, blah. So when the monkey showed up, the monkey wasn't used to anything, nor was the cat.
Wow.
And I kept on saying, now the monkey, I didn't even know about that. And when I showed up on the set, there was the monkey. And okay, so there's a monkey, big deal. Let's just rehearse this. And then all hell broke loose. But but we started rehearsing without the cat and Lisa just pantomimed, I already knew, I said, this is not good. I was just thinking, and it wasn't funny. I just kept on saying, we're rehearsing without an animal. And that's like a no-no. I mean, I said, this is not going to go well. But I didn't say anything because I didn't want to cause any trouble. I'm a new guy. I wasn't getting along with the cast at all. I don't speak to anybody. I do my job. I'm a blue collar actor. I just go in, I do my job, I say my words, I go home. That's it. And if you want to talk, fine. I get along with the crew, okay. But actors on the set, and I understand, they don't like to schmooze or talk, and I respect that. I'm the same way. So okay, so now the day of the shoot, and the cat wrangler comes in, and he gives Lisa the cat. The cat was really cool, She gives Lisa the cat. She's petting it. They got along fine. So I'm thinking, well, maybe this is different. Maybe this time is different. But we rehearsed with the cat earlier, right before the show, and everything was fine. Everything's cat. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. The show. Now there's an audience. There's music. There's a guy telling jokes. There's hundreds of people around. We're moving stuff. And there's no cat yet. We're just doing the show. And then, okay, this scene comes up with the cat. And the wrangler comes with the cat. And now this is what we did in the afternoon, earlier in the afternoon with the cat. It gives it to Lisa. Cat's fine, petting the cat. And now the audience comes in and the wrangler gives Lisa the cat. We're going to do this. And all of a sudden the cat is tense. You could see her hand, Lisa's hand is not like this. It's like this. On the cat, she's holding the cat so it doesn't run away. The cat didn't want to be there. I don't know. The cat maybe didn't like the scene. He didn't have funny lines, whatever. The cat wasn't into this.
No, it wasn't his
this
jam.
whole thing. So yeah, so we were doing the scene. Now, we shot the scene with the audience, and Lisa's holding the cat. And I noticed that the cat is really, but it wasn't meowing. It wasn't like, wow. I wasn't doing that because then we would have to cut. I mean, the noise, but it was struggling. And she kept doing the scene, I mean, she's doing the lines. She's getting her cues. It was an amazing piece of acting for Lisa. She's an incredible actress. She wasn't, what do you call it? Losing her focus at all, She's just, but you could see she was really fighting with that cat and saying her lines normally. It was a wonderful thing to witness. But me and Monica were fascinated with what was going on with this actor, but saying our lines. It was the weirdest two realities going on at the same time. Poor Lisa and keep doing the scene. So finally the scene is over, thank God. The scene is over and it cut, and immediately Lisa steps back, holding onto the cat, and she wouldn't pull it away from her. She just kept it like this, and she walked over to the wrangler, the cat wrangler, and she was going to, give it to him like, hey man, this cat is weird. It's going to run away, catch it, get it good. So in the handing over, the guy thought, well, it's my cat. So he was kind of loose about it. And the cat just leapt up into the air.
Oh.
And was and he was all backstage, right? And the director knew immediately what was happening because the cat was gone. They wanted to shoot it again because of the cat thing, the fighting with Lisa. But it was gone. So the director said, that's it. It's a one-take thing. We're moving on. We'll never find that cat, which was true. And so everybody was concentrating on where's the cat? Can we do the scene again? No, we got to move on. Let's go. We're losing time. We're losing money. We got an audience waiting.
Yeah.
And Lisa is being taken to the nurse. And I go, what the hell is going on? And her arm was just clawed. The cat was just clawing her like that. And she didn't say a word, man. She just said her line.
Wow.
Yeah.
How impressive.
We all thought Lisa was very brave, and then finally she came out, and there was like a couple of bandages, but they just, it was just scratch marks and stuff. And she had bled, because the cat scratched her. But, she didn't want anybody to pay any attention to it, whatever. I don't know. Maybe she had a long sleeve shirt on and she covered it up. But it was kind of weird because with the monkey, it was funny because we couldn't shoot until we caught the monkey. And once we caught the monkey, he did okay. It was just catch the monkey, put him in a cage. That was his part. Get the monkey, put him in a cage. Once we put him in a cage, the scene was over. But with the cat, we had to do an entire scene with the cat on camera, and we couldn't shoot it again. The cat was gone, man. And they didn't bring an extra cat, like a stand-in. I mean, so
twins. You need twins, right? Like children, you bring a twin cat.
Yeah, and also I was thinking, You know, for the Friends being such a big, huge, monstrous hit that it
Yeah,
was by
yeah,
then, for them to just be cheap and not bring the cat to the rehearsal when it's in the entire. I mean, I thought that was really chintzy of them, cheapo. I mean, it was really like to send one of your stars to the nurses' quarters to get bandaged up
yeah,
is, not worth the price of bringing the cat in at least 2 days a week, or maybe one, or one other day. Anyway, that's the story of the cat.
wow, holy moly, how impressive.
See, show
So
business, show business is not what you
it's
think.
tricky.
See,
No,
well, these
no,
two stories, yeah, it's very
yeah,
tricky, man.
it
And,
is.
and that's what show business to me is all the time. It's when it goes well that I don't remember it because it went well. You go in, you say your lines, and you go
Yeah,
home.
yeah,
Nothing happened, and I don't remember that show. But 99.9% of the shows I remember because something goes on that's just weird or bizarre or you're just not regular.
yeah,
And that makes it funny or interesting to me. And I remember it. And that's the stories I tell. And when I wrote I got a book coming out called That Guy, because everybody
yeah,
calls me that. Oh, you're that guy. So it's coming out in September. So it's a long way off, but it's about showbiz. It's about what we're talking about. It's about all the shows that I did and all the things that happened. And it's called That Guy, but the subtitle is A Cautionary Tale, because in each thing, it's a very funny book,
yeah,
but in each thing, the thing that's most funny about all these shows is like the cat and the monkey. It's the things that go wrong or just are weird, but maybe are weird in a good way. Like sometimes something so weird happens that it's hysterical and they keep it in because, oh man, it's like a mistake or an improv or whatever, and
yeah,
they keep it in. So those are the kinds of stories. And that's what I liked about show business is the fuck ups, the screw ups, the
yeah.
mistakes that either happen and are kept in. I've done a couple of those, or mistakes that you got to ignore and shoot around or fix. The crews are really great with that. They just get baling wire, string, and tape and fix anything, even digital stuff. They just fix it. The crews are amazing, man. They're geniuses. As
Yeah.
a group, it's a genius. Something goes wrong. The ceiling. Well, one time, or they just do their job really well. Like one time on
Yeah.
Home Alone, the lights above my scene,
Mhm.
these Hollywood Klieg lights and stuff. They were on too long. They got hot and they exploded. So they rained down,
Oh my
a
gosh.
glass all over the set. So they had to clean it up. So time is money. It is a big feature. It was Home Alone.
Yeah.
So we had it was all over the set. So everybody had to clear out, and the crew came in and had to clean up that glass, which is not fun. But but they know, the crew knows about time is money. I mean, that's their whole job. Fix it and get out of there. And
Yeah.
they just did a bam like that. You just see these guys come in, and it was gone. No glass. Holy cow.
It's
That's amazing.
amazing. Yeah. It
Yeah.
is.
So
It's fascinating. So I actually yeah, not serious, but I did a little bit of background acting, like 5 seconds. So I didn't understand all that went into it. So it was a movie, Red Notice. So it was The Rock. So they call him DJ on set, Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds. And so we're there the whole day. So it was a 3-day shoot for one scene. I did not know that's how real life was. And so the the stars weren't even barely out there. Like it was like behind the scenes stuff, moving, moving, moving. And then they would come
oh
out for a few seconds. They would do some lines, then they would go away. And then it was moving, 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 this, and that. And but the thing was that was fascinating is that I really wish that they kept it. I was kind of not disappointed. It was a good movie, but Ryan Reynolds was improving all of his lines. It was
wow.
hilarious. Every scene that he was supposed to, like, say, take 4, he would change the line again. And so, but I thought some of the ones that he said were so much funnier than the one that they kept. I don't know if they kept the original script, of course I'm just sitting there, I don't know anything, but it was fascinating. Also, there was a bull in the scene. Of course, there's no bull when they're shooting it. So to see it added in was like so fascinating. Like, how in the world do they make this bull look so real? Like they're really with the bull. Like it's so amazing. And so it's got to be cool, like you said, and funny to like be a part of that. Like in real life, you're actually part of the scene. But how did you get into acting in the first place? I mean, you've been doing it for many years now, and you went to school at University of Syracuse, is that right? And
Yeah.
then, but you didn't go for acting. Is that correct? I don't know if I'm
No,
wrong.
industrial design. I'm a
I
painter.
love
Those are my
that. It's
paintings.
beautiful.
Oh, thank
Awesome.
you. So I know I went as I didn't want to go to college. I mean, I didn't want to do anything. I mean, I still don't. I don't want to be an actor. I still don't want to be an actor.
Okay.
I'm not an actor. I can do it, but I can't be Ryan Reynolds or DJ or whatever. So I mean, I can do it because I can do it, but it's not because I love doing it or I want to do it. I can just, some people can tie their shoelaces. Some people can't, so I did it because the money was good and they wanted me.
Yeah.
There's somebody say audition for that or because I was in the committee. The committee was an improv group like Second City.
Yeah.
So, people come and see the show. We're funny. I mean, we improvised. It was our theater. So, a director would come in, local, San Francisco, local director, making small little movies or film shorts, nothing Hollywood. And they would say, hey, you want to be in my movie? You're funny. I see you up on the stage. Why don't you be in the movie, do this part? And I go, yeah, okay. Because, I was an improver and he wanted me to do the scene. So he's going to give me money. I'll do it. And they kept on doing that. I was in San Francisco in the committee for 10 years. In 10 years, I did a
Wonderful.
lot of movies up in San Francisco, not being an actor, a movie actor, but being an improv actor. They would come in and see me on the, well, when everybody went down to LA, the committee, the entire committee went down to LA at different times, one at a time, 2 a week, 1 a week. And then finally everybody went. And I was kind of left there with a third or fourth generation company, which wasn't as funny as the original guys and girls. I went down too, because it just wasn't fun anymore. I didn't have my improv mates, the people who I
Right.
grew up with in improv.
Yeah.
We had a connection, so we could tumble and we could just make bizarre choices, and my partner would go along with it and make it
Right.
better. But a third or fourth company wasn't up to that level. So I went down there to be an actor, a movie actor, but not because I wanted to. Everybody else, all my friends were down there. They were making much more money than being on stage, in San
Yeah.
Francisco. So I did it and I could do it. So I just kept on doing it. But I can tell you, it was never, I got an agent. So he would say, hey, I got an audition for you. Yeah, but I was going to go for a bike ride. Well, yeah, but this is, I mean, no, yeah, that's what was
Yeah,
going on.
right. Yeah, you're like, no, I'm
I mean, this is an
doing my
interruption
life,
of my day.
Yeah. How dare you?
Yeah, what do you mean an audition? Where is it? In the valley. In the valley? That's like a 45-minute drive. He says, yeah, and you got to get down there now because they're closing in an hour and a half. Oh, man. So I'd have to, all right, fine. So that's the yin and the yang. I would go in, I do, in some part that I like, oh, you're so good in that. That's really great. But yeah, but I had a bike ride. I was going to go, I was going to do a 10-miler, I looked at. So it never left me, that dichotomy of my day. And I like to write, I like to paint, I like to hang out.
Yeah.
I don't like to work. I don't like jobs. I don't like that. So I like to do podcasts. This is my house, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to get
Awesome.
dressed up. So that's what I liked about show business was what people didn't see, the 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 mistakes and all that stuff.
Yeah. So let me ask you, your art is really gorgeous. Do you sell it online or do you go to galleries or do you just do it for fun or what do you do?
I
Like,
just do it for fun.
okay.
I mean, I have a website called the Real Larry Hankin, but the paint like that one is, I think, that's $500 and that one's $300. I mean, nobody has $500 or $300.
No,
I mean,
people
I
do,
think
Larry. People
well,
do. Some
they're
people
up
do.
there, and nobody buys them, and I like them.
They're beautiful.
But the real Larry Hankin, you can get any size you want, and they get
Okay.
cheaper as you get smaller. You can get one that big for a couple of bucks, but they're that's the size they're supposed to be. So by the way, I didn't really answer that last question about how I got started. You wanted to know how I got started,
Yeah, it's
right?
okay. Yeah.
Well, like I say, I didn't want to be in show business at all. I didn't know. I grew up in a very cloistered family surroundings. I didn't know anything. I was very sheltered. We lived in Far Rockaway, and my father was an accountant. My mom was a housewife. And they didn't know from anything. They didn't want to know from anything, and they didn't want me to know from anything.
Hmm.
So the only way I didn't know, but so when I went to college, I thought I was going to a design school, industrial design. I thought
Yeah.
design. No, it's calculus and math and engineering, industrial design. So, but I was a good student, I was an A student. I mean, because once I get into something, I just don't want to be the last one, you know? I don't want to be in the middle of the pack. I want to be, up there, up front. So I would really, even though I didn't want to be one, well, here we are in Syracuse. I want to hang out with my fraternity brothers, but I got to go to class. It's the same thing with, I don't want to
You
I
wanted
don't
to
want
ride
to
your
be an
bike.
actor. Yeah, I want to ride my bike. It was the same thing. So I finally, when I graduated, I just called, my best friend was Carl Gottlieb, who wrote Jaws. I mean, he didn't write it then. He was
Wow.
to write that later on, many years later. But he was my best friend back then in college. And I said, hey, I don't want to go to Detroit and design cars. Where are you going? We were going to graduate at the same time. He was in the drama department. I said, so he said, I'm going to Greenwich Village. And where are you going? I said, well, I'm supposed to go to Detroit and design cars, but Greenwich Village sounds a lot better. You want a roommate? And he said, yeah, I could use one. I said, okay, let's go. So we hopped in a car. I think I bought one for $35, a
Wow.
transportation vehicle. And we drove home, I guess. Or I don't know where we drove. I don't know. We had that car. Oh, well, anyway, we got into New York. We got an apartment in New York. Oh, yeah. We drove from Syracuse down to New York. I shipped everything to my house. And I told my mom and dad that I'd be home for the holidays, but I was actually going to live with Carl in Greenwich Village. And we lived on Long Island, so I wasn't moving very far away from home. But it was another world. Greenwich Village in the 60s was not Far Rockaway, Long Island, and my house. You couldn't get further apart about anything. I mean, it was hippies, it was rock and roll, it was marijuana, it was street. And I was, middle class Jewish, shul, synagogue, religion. It just blew my mind. I just
Wow.
couldn't get my head around it, but I loved it and I wanted to be part of it, So I got on the stage. They had these, what do you call it? 3-minute open mic nights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I joined that. Well, here's the thing. Carl, when we got down there, we had rent to pay. Now, the only rent we had to pay was, I think, Carl says it was $75 a month, which is pretty cheap. I think it was 150.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe think it was his 75 and my 75. But it was really cheap. It was a 4 or 5 floor walk up, no elevator, a really cheap apartment, man. It was just very small, one bedroom. I slept in an alcove, and he slept in the bedroom, and the bathtub was in the kitchen. That was really amazing.
What?
That's how small it was.
Jeez, Louise.
Yeah, the bathroom was just a bathroom.
Okay. Just the toilet. Toilet and sink?
I think now we haven't got this right, and I can't remember it straight, but I think there was a shower in the bathroom, and that was it. And I think, yeah, there was a shower in the bathroom, but there was a bathtub in the kitchen, which had a covering, just a metal covering that's supposed to be on it. And so we would store stuff on it. You couldn't sit at it because it was a bathtub, with the iron, with the lion's claws, the feet. It was a tub.
Wow.
You could move in and out. So you couldn't sit at it because your knees had hit the tub, So we would store stuff on it. And then if we wanted to take a bath, you'd have to take everything off, take the cover off, get in, and the door to the apartment faced the tub. So there was a little hallway of about 4 feet. Door opened, little hallway. Then there was a kitchen door, no door, doorway, and there was the tub. And so one day, I mean, it was bound to happen. We just figured it was not going to be me, or that's what I figured. But we would take baths as opposed to showers because we had a bathtub, and it was just so in the kitchen. I thought it was funny to take a bath in the kitchen. It was just bizarre. So I was taking a bath, and he had gone out, and then I hear the key in the door, and he comes in, and he's got a girl with him, and I'm sitting in the bathtub. And I go, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? And he goes, oh, yeah, well, this is, Shirley. I go, hi, Shirley, how you doing? So just go in the living room. It was just the doorway to the left. Just turn to your left, go in the living room, and I'll be out in a second, So they went in the bedroom, into the parlor, and I got dressed and, toweled off and put everything back. And so that was kind of a fun apartment, but he had a job right away. Carl had a job right away in a newspaper, just a local newspaper, 4 or 5 blocks, one of those local newspapers. And I didn't have any job. I mean, I was bar mitzvahed, I didn't know anything. So I got a job busing a bar from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. I clean up the peanut shells and clean up the bar from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. So I had my entire day and night free. So I would it was Greenwich Village. So I would go to the open mic nights and just sit there until 2 a.m. or until the coffee house closed. And I'd wander around for an hour or so, or maybe go to the bar and hang out for the last hour or two. And then I'd clean up, and then at 6 a.m, and I would be stealing food from the grill part of the bar because I didn't have any money and I couldn't pay the rent with the money I was making bussing the bar. So I would steal my food or purloin my food or borrow my food. I was hungry. And so I would go into the kitchen and take stuff. And I wore a raincoat so I could, Harpo Marx. That's where I got it from.
Oh, wow.
Harpo Marx. He would open his raincoat and all spoons would fall out, So that's what I did. I wore a raincoat and I just stuck stuff that didn't bulge, like a rasher of bacon. It was flat and square. I put it in my bag. And I would stand by the door at 6 a.m. and the day chef would come in the morning. He'd open the door and I would get out. And I would just But I saw the open mic nights and I had nothing to do. So I started until did the bar thing. So I got up on stage and I was getting really funny because I was a funny guy.
Yeah.
I mean, just talking, I was funny. So I just got up on the stage and I had a very good learning curve. I just picked it up just like that. I was much funnier than everybody else because it was an open mic night. I mean, who's funny on open mic night? It's one out of 100,
Right.
and I happened to be the one. And then one day this guy comes up to me. I was just doing it. I wasn't thinking about, it was something to do until the bar closed. I wasn't thinking of being a professional or anything. And one day this guy comes in, his name was, I don't know, I can't even remember the guy's name. He came in, he said, I'm a manager. You want a manager? And I go, oh yeah, representation. That's what everybody talked about in the village, not getting a job or being famous or a lot of money. They wanted representation. We all wanted that was like a magic word. Anytime anybody got a representation, they would brag at when we got together in the bar or something. Hey man, I got representation. Whoa! You become a professional. Now you're a professional. You could get booked out of the coffee house. You could get booked into a nightclub. That was the big deal. So one day the guy says, you got a manager? And I said, representation. And he goes, yeah, representation. I'm a manager. Well, okay, you want a manager? Yes. How about me? Yes. He says, okay, I'll come in every once in a while, but your manager is, let's see, oh man, that's so, but he was big. What he was Woody Allen's manager.
Wow.
That's the key. And when I had my bragging rights that night, with the guys, and I said, hey, I got represented. Now, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know. Jack Rollins is his name. So I didn't know who Jack Rollins was. He said, now, if anybody asks you, your manager is Jack Rollins, I'll come in every once in a while and check on you, but keep up the good work. Okay. And he left. Okay. So that night I said, hey, I got a man. Oh, well, who do you have? So I don't know. It's Jack Rollins. Jack Rollins? You got Jack Rollins? Yeah. That's Woody Allen's manager. Whoa. Now Woody Allen was just starting to hit, man. He was uptown. He was getting the nightclubs. He was doing like an Ed Sullivan show.
Wow.
So so I thought, wow. And then he started booking me in nightclubs. So I was in show business. That's how I got into show business. By waiting to bust the bar at 2 a.m. I just tripped. I just fell into show business. So then, I got into critical thinking humor. Richie Pryor, George Carlin, Lenny Bruce. I would go see Lenny Bruce all the time. I thought he was great. And I started doing stuff like Lenny Bruce and Richie Pryor and George Carlin. Now, I didn't know about the blowback. I knew Lenny was getting busted, but I didn't really know what for. I thought it was drugs. Well, he was being busted for drugs because they'd find the drugs, but he was being busted for being funny on stage in a paying audience. He would say fuck and crap, and he would curse and talk about politics and religion. That's why he was being busted. And then they would find drugs, and then, oh man, we got to, So I was being harassed by the police. I started being pulled off the stage by the police.
Oh my.
In Washington, D.C., Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. I was pulled off the stage by 20 policemen for saying, and I didn't even curse. I said, I was pretending I was God. So right away, religion was a no-no. I was talking about religion. I said, okay, I'm God, just like that. I had a microphone, and here's my microphone. my microphone, and I said, I'm God, and here's a little guy on thing. I was okay, I got this bit for you. There's this little guy, and where's your clothes? I said to the little guy, where's your clothes? And I said, this is all I said. Said, I'm God. Who are you? Oh, you're a little man. Okay. And what's that between your legs? That's what I said. And 20 policemen pulled me off the stage.
Whoa.
What the fuck? Yeah. And what it turned out, what had happened was this is an arena. It's not about 2,000 students, Washington University. In the beginning of my set, I had to do 20 minutes. I was opening for the Love and Spoonful. I had to do 20 minutes. In the beginning, I think I said something like shit or fuck or something untoward.
Okay.
Something, a no word. But, in passing, like, hey, what's going on? Whatever. Okay, and then I did my funny stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then I started to get into the critical thinking, and they stopped laughing. The kids stopped laughing. 2,000 kids just were stunned. Maybe, I think it was a religious university. Maybe that was it. They said, that was weird. And I was into the critical thinking stuff. And then they started to boo.
Oh, no.
Instead of laughing. Boo, get off the stage. But they didn't say get off the stage. What they said was, this is weird. The funny stuff, do the funny stuff. We don't want to hear that. And they're shouting that, So I stopped and I said, what's wrong? I said, I became Larry Hankin on the stage.
Yeah.
What? I just, all facade just dropped away. And they sensed it and they just shut up, So it was now me talking to 2,000 students. Just conversation. Look, you people are all college students. You're supposed to like this. You're supposed to be able to curse on stage. Why are you booing? You shouldn't boo. You're a college student, And they said, do the funny stuff. So they were yelling back and forth, but not weird, not bad, not, just individual. Yeah, do the funny stuff. Like what they were talking back and forth. So I said, okay, fine. And then they quieted down. But I went right back to the critical thinking stuff. And like I tricked them. Like, I said I was going to be funny and do the not funny, the clean stuff. And instead I just went back to doing what I was doing. Hey, what's that between your legs? Well, they got angry at that. They thought I'm dicking with them. I'm just screwing around with them. So then now they started to pull off the armrests. It was an old theater, They started pull up these wooden armrests and throwing them at me.
Oh,
get off the stage, man. Yeah, no, it's really a riot started. Get off the stage. And the first 3 rows are pulling up that thing. Damn it. If one of them hit me, I would have to go to the hospital. I mean, It was just really weird. And so I said, okay, because I didn't want that to happen. So I said, okay, I'll do the clean stuff. So I have clean stuff. I mean, you have a lot of stuff in your head. So I did the clean stuff, and all of a sudden they just changed and went back to laughing and having a great time. So I had about 10 more minutes to go. And I thought, I'm going to just, and I was getting really good laughs. It was just like nothing ever happened beforehand. It was just, hey, great, ha, ha, ha. So when I got a really big laugh, I said, he just immediately went, okay, here's the little guy. And what is that between your legs? And they just fucking went weird. So the lights went on. They turned the lights on in the arena. And then I could see the guys in the back were pulling off their armrests and passing them down to the guys in front who didn't have any more armrests. Well, they threw all their armrests. So the guys in the back are passing them down. And now the cops are coming down. So what happened was the first time I got dirty, the dean who was in the back called the police. By the time the police came, I was doing clean stuff. So they waited back there, and the dean said, this is what I heard, that the dean said, wait, if he does any dirty stuff, pull him off the stage. And then when I went back to doing the hey, what's that between your legs? The dean said, pull him off the stage. So that's on both sides. 10 cops on the wall aisles came down, and very nicely, very gentlemanly, said, you have to get off the stage, and they just put a hand on each shoulder, cop on each shoulder. Not rough, just like that, You have to get off the stage. And I said, there's 20 cops. And the audience is cheering, yay, yay. And the Loving Spoonful are in the wings saying, no, don't pull him off the stage. Do the dirty stuff. Larry, do the dirty stuff. Because they wanted a riot. They wanted the publicity. She said, no, leave him out. So they're really shouting and everybody. So I just walked off the stage. They took me backstage. And then they left two guys guarding me, two cops guarding me. That's just ridiculous. But this is what I liked about show business. This is the only thing that I liked about show business. These kinds of things. And you go, what the hell is going on? Two cops. And then the other 18 cops just left, man. They didn't want to be there. I don't think they even knew why they pulled me off the stage. They just got off. And I said, why are you guarding me? I'm backstage. They're setting up now because I had 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
They got to get it set up. The curtains were closed. I said, why are you standing here? I'm off the stage. It's over. Well, what are you doing? So they said, we have instructions from the dean to guard you until the Loving Spoonfuls start to play so you don't run out there and start again. I said, are you serious?
Oh, my.
And they go, yeah, we are. So I said, oh, okay. So we just stood there, the three of us, I didn't, it's like this, and until the Loving Spoonful started to play. And as soon as the Loving Spoonful started to play the first note, they just walked away. They just split. So that's how I got into show business. Now I thought, and the Loving Spoonful thought, wow, the rest of the tour is going to be like this. But it wasn't. The rest of the tour was like a normal college audience, and everything was fine. But that was always in the back of everybody's mind, is when are the cops going to show up again? And they did later on when I was not doing arenas, but nightclubs. People would come at me with beer bottles. Get the fuck off the stage. I was opening for Kingston Trio. And they would go, get the fuck off the stage. With a beer bottle upside down in his hand, walking across the dance floor. So I quit, I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. It's not fun. I'm not an actor. I'm not a stand-up comedian. I'm just a funny guy who's trying to make a living, pay the rent. What the hell is going on? So then Jack Rowland, I called Jack. I said, look, Jack, you're booking me in these places. Cops are pulling me off the stage. They think I'm Lenny Bruce. I said, you got Woody Allen is doing the Ed Sullivan show.
Yeah.
You got me in the boonies getting pulled off the stage by the police. I mean, what's going on, Jack? So Jack said, well, Woody is not doing what you're doing. He's got television humor. He's not doing critical thinking stuff, Larry. If you want to get on television, you got to do television humor. So what the hell is television humor? He said, well, it's clean. It's clean. You can't curse. You can't do religious stuff. So I said, he said, you got to write funny, clean stuff. And I told him, and this is the truth, I don't write. To this, well, I learned to write, but I wasn't writing. I was making that stuff up and then keeping it. I had a great memory. I had a photographic memory.
Okay.
So I would make it up, and if it was funny, I just keep it. I wouldn't change it. I would add on. So I would have like 20 minutes of good material, but it was never written. It was honed over each time I did it. You cut a little. So he said, well, why don't you join Second City? You can do the same stuff as Richie and Lenny, but they own the theater and they throw the bottle guy out and the cops can't come in. So that's what I did. And that's how I got into really the show business of acting. I joined Second City. I auditioned, got in, and boom, now I'm an actor. But how I got there, I couldn't really figure it out. I mean, I told you how I did it, but it was over, 2 years that all this happened. And it was just one thing leading to another. And I was making money and paying rent, so I couldn't get out.
Oh my gosh.
And here I am now talking to you years later.
So people don't understand how freaking difficult stand-up is. So I literally it's so funny because I'm doing a podcast and I'm doing so many other things and I'm starting to become a speaker and all this stuff. But I was so petrified of public speaking that I failed speech class in high school because I
Yeah.
wouldn't go up and do it. So when I did stand up, I was like, you know what? I turned 40 this year. So I'm like, I am going to face my fears. So I took classes and I literally was going to throw up. So we added that to my set because they helped you build a 5-minute set. It's my material. I
No,
write it. Go
wait,
ahead.
wait, hold on. Let me just interrupt just for a second. When I started with Jack Rollins, who was Woody Allen's manager,
Yeah.
he was in a nightclub. Woody was in a nightclub in Greenwich Village, and I was 3-minute stand-up stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I'm going to get you to open for Woody. So he
Oh,
booked me into Woody's nightclub, and I opened for Woody for the first, month.
cool.
But here's why I'm telling you this. I witnessed Woody every night going into the bathroom and throwing up.
Wow. So
Woody
even he
Allen would
was
throw up.
nervous.
Oh
Wow.
man, he had such stage fright. I mean, once he got on the stage, he was fine, but he would pace and he would get all white and he would go into the bathroom and I'd hear him throwing up.
Oh,
And the owner of the nightclub would come out and stand by the door so no one would go in while Woody was throwing up. She was so it was a woman. And then Woody would come out and she'd walk him
oh,
to the stage and then he would go on and he would kill. It
yeah.
would be funny. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. You were saying you were
So,
throwing
yeah, so no, I didn't physically throw up. So what happened was I was writing
you
this
were.
joke about how uh I finally got up the nerve to get diagnosed with anxiety and ADHD by Dr. TikTok. And I'm so grateful because everything makes me anxious. And so she's like, "Well, how do you feel?" She asked me, they give you feedback and she's like, "Well, how does it make you feel?" And I was like, "Well, it makes me feel like I'm going to throw up, pass out and shit my pants." And she said, "You need to add that." So add it. So I did. And everybody loved it because like it literally makes me feel like that. So, so it's, that's a good thing about, so the comedian that taught the class, she just was on America's Got Talent. She's amazing. Lace Larrabee. And then she has a podcast too, and it's called Cheaty's podcast. But her co-host, Catherine Blanford, was just on the Tonight Show. So speaking about those things and seeing her, and I know her. So she actually was nervous, and I've never seen her nervous. She opens for, I do this one place in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta area, Laughing Skull. And it's open mic, but it's very scheduled and very structured, that there are some famous comedians that come that just want to practice new material and stuff. But it's so great because she hosts a lot and I've never seen her nervous. And I was watching the Tonight Show and I could see it in her. She would giggle a little bit and she would do those things. And I was like, dang, even she's getting nervous. So you're right. But it's scary, I mean, like people get stuff thrown at them like oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And like people get really injured and it's not that serious. It's words, okay? I mean, I don't agree. First of all, nobody should be racist, so that's out of the window. We should never do that. That's not acceptable. But if you're just saying like people are telling jokes, you shouldn't physically harm them, I mean, like their words. But anyway, I digress because I get on a tangent. I mean, I literally like, and I would be the only female sometimes at the open mics. And it got to the point where one day I just like, this one guy was amazing and he was like improving this whole thing. And I said, you know what? I'm glad I didn't have to go up after him because I literally like was gonna just, make fun of a male comedian. And they're like, do it. And like, cause the guy was an impressionist. And I said, well, I'm going to do my impression of a male comedian. So I did. And it was like the thing about between the legs, because that's what they talk about a lot. I'm like, dude, like all the time. But anyway, so comedy actually is so helpful. And I think like how you started was amazing because improv and people watching you and you like are literally just, I mean, it's so intelligent. People don't understand how smart it is to just come up with stuff and it makes sense. And so all the movies that you've done, like a lot of movies, is there anybody that you were really like so excited to even be in their presence, or you were like impressed by them or were a fan of them?
Yeah. The only one that I could think of, because I was a stand-up comedian, so I mean, I had flushed all that nervousness, stage fright, speaking in front of an audience. I flushed that all out for years on the road, being a stand-up comedian, being in the Commitee, being in Second City. And then, so I was eased into it because it was gradual stage. I'd be a stand-up comedian for a while and get the nerves out of that, then go on to Second City and be an improv, and they would teach you and you go to classes.
Mm-hmm.
And the Commitee. So I would be taught and handheld along the way. So when I finally got to acting with Clint Eastwood and Bryan Cranston,
Awesome.
I was awed by them because they knew what they were doing and had been doing it for years. So I used it as a learning platform, not as a nervous platform. I wouldn't be nervous because I would want to be near them, in the scene with them, and paying attention to what they were doing, which kind of worked around the nervousness. It just, the focus was not on nerves. It was on what is he doing? How does he do that? How does he learn his lines? What's going on? The only time was with Bryan Cranston. I got nervous and I forget my lines. You go up on your lines. But even then, I learned something. And I was working with Bryan on Breaking Bad, and I was doing fine. No nerves or anything, even though I knew Bryan was really an amazing actor. I mean, he's really an amazing. But I was working with him, and I only had a very small scene with him in the beginning. I did 2 shows. So the second show, no nerves at all. And the first show, it didn't really matter. I didn't work with them that long. It didn't. It was just another job. The first time. Second time, I had a major scene with Bryan Cranston, and I was nervous, but it was only 5 lines.
Wow.
So I thought, if I just focus on the 5 lines, don't think about Bryan, don't think about the scene, just lock in on the words and your character. So that's what I did. And we did 1 take, and it was just really great. I just felt it was great. Bryan felt it was great. The cameraman, the director, everybody said it was great. They said 1 take. And even when I looked at it weeks later on the TV screen, I thought, yeah, man, I nailed it. That was really great. Okay. So everybody thought I was cool because we did a great scene. So now in the afternoon, I had to do a longer scene with him. And that scared me because when I get nervous, I forget my lines.
Oh.
And you don't forget your lines with a major star. I mean, that's what I thought anyway. I mean,
yeah.
And I did. I went up on my lines because I was nervous, and he got angry. Bryan got angry. Yeah. So I mean, it was a passive aggressive anger, but it was an anger nevertheless. He got, hey, Larry, get your lines down. And he said it seriously to me. Larry, get your lines down. So he did it again, and I went up again. I went up 3 times. And each time, and on the 3rd time, he wouldn't even talk to me. I mean, in the scene,
oh my,
he would hardly even look at me. He would just say his lines like that, So I thought, wow, man. So I just stopped because we kept on doing it over and over because I was going up on my lines, 3 times. So the 3rd time, I said, excuse me, I got to talk to the director. Now, it was all on me. I had forgotten my lines. So I go over to the director and I said, hey, look, Bryan is getting really angry out there. Am I doing something really bad? Because, I mean, he's really giving me some bad stuff. And the director said, well, first of all, Larry, you got to know one thing. He was very kind to me. He said, first of all, Larry, all actors go up on their lines. Yeah. And second of all, we're losing the light. Fuck Bryan, get back out there and let's get this done. And that was it. And I thought, okay. So he just like, fuck your nervousness, man.
Yeah.
What do you know? I just went out there and fine. I didn't go up on my lines at all. I mean, he just scared me into my focus, Fuck Brian. I mean, that's just stuck with me forever.
Aw.
Anytime I get nervous at all, I just hear that in the back of my mind. FB.
FB.
Okay, got it.
That's
So
hilarious.
yeah. So I say again, it's those now I gotta say this, that I run into that a lot. These great stories that when you're going through them, they're kind of awful, or you're chasing a monkey, or you forget your lines, or whatever. But in the telling of the stories, they're really great. It adds a little soup song, a pepper to the greatness of Hollywood. These fuck ups. But I think it's just the way that I see Hollywood. And other actors, they just talk about, oh, it's really great, and you get a car, and they pick you up, and you get to do this part and that part, and it's all. And I'm not into that crap, man, because my life in Hollywood is what these stories I'm telling you. The nervousness, the forgetting, the monkeys, the animals, the cats, the whatever.
Yeah.
That's the life that I want to talk about. That it's not, like even shooting a movie in sequence. It doesn't happen that way.
Nope, not at all.
So you got to think, okay, this is the middle of the movie, and we're starting in the middle of the movie, and then tomorrow I got to shoot the beginning. So I got to think, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I doing today? And how does tomorrow lead up to today? And now you got to think like that. How does tomorrow lead up to today? And that's weird in itself, but you got to go into movies and TV things doing that. So to me, it's a lark and a laugh, LAFF, but I can't take it serious. Hollywood, I don't. It's just, I don't get it. I mean, that's what I want on my tombstone. I didn't get it.
Okay. Hey, if you can write your own tombstone, go the hell and do it. That's awesome. Whoever.
I mean, yeah, but that's just Hollywood. It's not life. I mean, I guess I should say it's Hollywood.
Yeah,
but even life,
yeah.
It's I can't take Hollywood seriously. I never did. And sometimes you get in fights about it because other people do. I mean, directors do. Some don't. So some are cool. When I did this Escape from Alcatraz, the director of that, Don Siegel, I mean, he would laugh with me. He knew it was all ridiculous. I mean, he would just say, "Hey, Larry, I don't know." I'd say, like, "Why are you putting the camera here?" He'd say, "Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to get fired." I'd say, "Okay."
Okay.
Or I'd say, "Larry," because I always come on set in my uniform, in my costume, which was just a blue shirt, jeans, and black shoes and white socks. So I'd wear it every day, even if I wasn't going to be on the set. It was Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I would just go out onto the island and hang out. So but I would hang out near the camera because I wanted to learn. I just wanted to learn. So every once in a while, Don Siegel, the director, would say, "Hey, Larry, come here." "Oh, what?" "Get in the scene." What am I doing?" "I don't know. Get in there." "Why am I in there?" "I need another body in there. Get in there." "What should I do?" "Do anything you want. Get in there. Where you at?" I love making movies this way. It's, it's like Reynolds, he was improvising too.
Yeah.
See, when you do a lot of movies and you get above a certain pay grade, you can do what Brian Reynolds was doing and improvise. And the director the same way, he would play. He would say, "Hey, get in there, Larry, come on," because he liked me. Don Siegel liked me,
Awesome.
and he wanted me to be in the movie. So you have to get in there. I go, what? And if I say, hey, I'm up, I go up on my lines. It's he would holler at me, but like he would put me on all the time. Don Siegel on Escape from Alcatraz, and Clint Eastwood too. See, that's how they did their
Awesome.
movie. They would put everybody on. They would, I'd say, well, why are you doing this? He'd say, well, because in the old days, Don Siegel would say, because he used to direct great black and white movies.
Wow.
He'd say, in the old days, if it was a close up, and he would say some star, if it was a close up on the star, because back in the old days, in the black and white days, we had big lights and no air conditioning. So it was really hot on sets. It's different now. But back then, if there was a close up, and we had to do it a couple of times, then they would take their pants off. Why would they take their pants off? Well, because the camera's only up to here, So this, and it's really hot. So they would take all their clothes off. I mean, it'd be in their underwear or something like that. But I mean, they would, in other words, that's what was going on back then. And then they say, well, if you remember, if you see all these pictures, the black and white pictures of making black and white movies back in the black and white days, the crews wore suits. Remember, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever see those black and white movies?
Yes, I
Well, you
have.
know how hot that would be, and with all those big lights, it was amazing. So everybody would work in their underwear. The crews would work in their underwear. The actors were not because it was funny, it was because it was needed. It was hot on those sets. So to keep it lively and keep everybody's spirits up, they would put each other on. And Don Siegel would tell me stories about the stuff that was going on in the old days. And now in the new days, I just want to carry that on. But nobody has a sense of humor now. It's all money. Everybody's an accountant. We're losing the light. We're losing the money. Everybody's a fucking accountant. Every director is an accountant. So,
Oh
I don't
boy.
know.
I feel like that's with lots of stuff. So I'm a nurse as well as lots of stuff. So like
Well,
I'm a nurse now, yeah,
but
actively.
you,
And well, not today, I'm off,
oh,
but the next
being a nurse, you're around people who are sick, and that's serious, and some people
yeah.
die, and you have to lighten that up. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So there may be a lot of funny shit going on that if you weren't in that world, you'd say, hey, why are you fooling around? People are sick. Man, because it's too heavy.
yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, actually, it helps the patients. So I like to
Right.
talk to them. I love
Right.
to like, for example, one just got diagnosed with cancer
Yeah.
and she found out. So she's actually a nurse as well. And she's like, how am I supposed to work? She's the breadwinner and this and that. And she's like, am I gonna die? And she's in her 40s and I'm 40. And so sometimes all you can do is like hold their hand and try to make them laugh and try to distract them. And that's the thing with the field though, is that everything's about money now. And it's so freaking frustrating because it's like I can't even take care of the patients how I want to because it's so money focused. And it's like, hurry up, get them out. Got to get another one in. Got to get him out. Nope, nope. Somebody's coming from nowhere. Nope, nope, nope. Don't worry about this. And so it's kind of frustrating because it's like I have a heart and I love people. And so I want to help people. And that's the reason why I started this show is because I wanted people to know that they're not alone. I talk to everyone, people that have been addicted to drugs, people that have been abused, people whatever, or people that wrote a book, people, whatever, have successful businesses. But I want people to know that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. Somebody else is going through it. And also, I want closed-minded people to open their ears and eyes and hearts and just listen because we all have something in common. We all deserve the best, no matter if we made stupid choices. Yeah, people sometimes get on drugs or do something bad. I interviewed a guy that was in prison almost 14 years, and he now mentors kids to help them not go to prison, right? That's wonderful. Like we could make mistakes, but if we can take that and just like you're taking your experiences and you're putting it in a book to maybe help the younger generation that's going through acting. Hey, shit happens, right? Like sometimes a light's going to explode. It's all good. But that's the thing what we can do is like if we can, I've been through a lot. I witnessed my brother commit suicide via telephone. I heard him commit suicide. And, I've really been through a lot that helps me in my nursing, helps me be empathetic, helps me as a person. And I want to be there for people as well. So if I can take that trauma or whatever and flip it and say, "Hey, guess what? You're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay," right? So it's all good. Yeah, she got clawed by a cat, but she's a pro. She kept going. So things happen. Shit happens, but it's how we react to it, right? We can control how we react. So that's the whole thing with being a human in this world. It's like everything now is becoming so much money focused, like you said, or just like the numbers, right? And it's all about the numbers. And well, sometimes with technology, we lose the real connection with people. Just like you said with the improv group, it's the connection with each other. You guys can read each other. You can feel off of each other. You know the next move to make. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's the thing about, I love technology. We're using it right now, but it's also good to like speak to somebody one on one, to have that connection, to touch their hand or just be like, "Hey, I'm here for you," And you're so awesome. I absolutely love your different take on so you're just giving us the scenes, the back what's it called?
Backstory,
Yeah, there you go.
the
And I
background.
yeah, the background. I love that. I'm really appreciative for you talking to us. You're so awesome. And I want to have you back on closer to September to talk about that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, the book.
Yeah. So in your painting, where else can we find you? Is that your only like website, the real Larry
Well,
Hankin?
there's a Patreon thing.
Okay.
Larry Hankin's Patreon/ Larry Hankin.
Okay.
And if you go on there, they have my I make films. I make film shorts, so my film shorts are on there.
Awesome.
I'm gonna pay put up uh put up some of my writing.
Okay.
So there's two places. The real LarryHankin.com is the paintings and some of my film shorts, and also biographies and stuff like that. That don't write to me. I have a very hard time answering mail.
Okay.
It's too many. I have to hire somebody, is what's gonna. Okay, so the real LarryHankin.com and then Patreon / Larry Hankin. And there's more of my stuff. So those are the two places you can find me. And then on Facebook,
Awesome.
just
Okay.
Larry Hankin.
I want to ask you one more thing. So you talked about like, I didn't like it. I just wanted to pay my rent. What is your absolutely like favorite thing that's you that really explains who you are, be it the writing the screenplay or the artistry, like drawing, painting, or whatever? What is really, or the improv? Like, what is you? What explains you? What do you feel the happiest doing?
The happiest would be stand up. I
Okay.
love doing it. That's the best. And just talking, and then that's the show part of me. It would be just doing stand up that I write or make up or improv. And then the personal stuff is drawing, because you can do that alone, and writing. Writing and drawing is just sitting at home and writing or drawing, and I love it. And then I think my drawings are really good, and I think my writing is really good. But I would love to be able to support myself and just pay everything, rent, just support myself by writing and drawing. And then I would just love to get up on stage and do stand up, and I do it for free. See, that's the thing about acting that all producers know and all actors know and nobody else knows. And that is, you would act for free. That's how much you love it.
Yeah.
You would act for free. That's why I would do stand up for free. I mean, I charge money, but I'll do it for free.
Right. Yeah.
And then writing I'll do for free, and painting I'll do for free, and acting, getting into a movie. No, you got to pay me money for that. That I'll charge you as
Yeah,
much as I can. But
that's right.
anything else, what I want to do for free, that's who I am. I just want to do stuff, that I want to do.
That's
Play
wonderful.
guitar.
Awesome. I see that. Yes. You're so creative. I was talking about actually with Brian, who also interviewed you, Beeline Entertainment. Shout out to him. And I love his energy. He's so cool. But we were talking earlier and saying like creative people are so amazing because there's just so much that's like in here, right? Like a squirrel, maybe. Like, and we can do so many things and like we just have to unleash it. And sometimes traumatic things unleash things that you didn't even know you could do. Like literally, like people lost their jobs because of COVID and they're like, hey, now I'm gonna start this. Now I'm gonna start a baking business. Didn't even know, now I'm gonna do this. And it really like that creative side of the mind, whichever right, I don't know. Whatever side that is, I think it's right. I'm not sure. Anyway, but whatever that is, I love being around creative people. And that's what I loved about comedy as well, is just the like feeding off of each other because everybody is so I just comes up with the most amazing ideas that you're just like, wow, like I had no clue. Like, and music, I was in the band and when I was a kid, my kids were in the band and I really love music as well. And so actually part of my life coaching program is going to be either and this is a silly, but probably to you because you're like, "What?" But I actually wrote the intro of this podcast and it's a rap. Like loosely a rap, and I rap it. And I love music, and it makes me feel so good and free sometimes, like it just whatever you're feeling, just writing it down and so I'm incorporating that into my life coaching. And actually a millionaire gave me this idea. He's a like a real estate guru guy. And so he said, yeah, you need to be the rapping life coach. I'm like, what? But yeah, so in my life coaching, I'm adding either we're gonna write a poem or a song or whatever from just lines every week. We're gonna write a little teeny thing and we're gonna look at it and it's gonna be something like tangible, like you're just gonna look at it and be like, wow, like I did that and be proud and be like accomplishment. So that's so amazing. I love that, that you're capable of doing all those things though, right? You could pull it from anywhere and be like, yeah, today.
Well, wait a minute. It's not capable. It's that I have to.
You
It
have
has
to. Okay.
nothing to do with capability.
Okay.
I just have to. That's all. Period. If you're capable, do it. Just
But
like do it. I gotta get. I gotta go. I've got to.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. I really appreciate you. And I hope you have a great day. And I want to book you in a few months so we can talk about your book.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Larry. You're so
Okay.
awesome.
Thank you,
Have a great
Danielle.
day.
Okay. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Authentic Points of View podcast. I hope that something you heard today changes your point of view. If you would like to share your views, please email me at authenticpointsofview@gmail.com or leave a comment on Facebook at Authentic Points of View podcast. Remember, always be mindful of other people's journeys and have open ears and an open heart.